What is up, my creative fellas? Welcome to this episode of Tutorial Tuesday, where this is gonna be all about perspective. This is gonna be your complete guide to perspective, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done.
Alright guys, here we are inside of Photoshop, and basically we are going to divide this into different sections. The first section is finding perspective in man-made places such as streets, buildings, and stuff like that, which are not organic. We're gonna see how to find the perspective in these places. Actually, all you need to do is to follow the lines that you see in the image, the converging lines, whether it's the lines on the streets or the lines on the sides of the buildings. Any line that you can find in the image, just follow those lines and they will meet at a certain point, and that point is called the vanishing point. And once you have found the vanishing point, you can easily draw the horizon line on top of it. So now I'm going to grab my line tool and I'm just gonna choose a color which is visible for you guys, maybe blue, and I will create a new layer, and I'm just gonna draw a line which follows the line on side of this building, just like that. And I draw another line from another side of this other building. You can see that they will intersect at that point in the middle. You can already tell that it's the vanishing point. Okay, so now you know that your horizon line is gonna be on the vanishing point. The line that I draw with red is the horizon line, that line. If you draw any line, they will intersect at that exact point. Just like you can see, if I draw the lines from the sides of these buildings, from anywhere, they will actually just meet at the same exact point. So you can make sure that it is the horizon line. Let me take you to the second example. In this example, I'm going to draw the lines from these crosswalk lines on the street. If you follow the lines from the sides of these white rectangles on the street, just like that, I'm gonna draw another one from the sides of this one. You can tell that they will meet at a point. Okay, you can draw as many lines as you want to make sure, but they will all meet at that same exact point, which is called the vanishing point. And now you can draw a line on the vanishing point, and this line is going to be the horizon line. So now you know that the horizon line of this image is right there. It's that easy. You don't need to do crazy stuff and I don't know, all that fancy stuff to find the horizon line, and you don't even need to eyeball it most of the cases, because you can easily find it with this simple technique. You just need to follow the lines that are converging in the image. Let's move on to the next example now. Once again, I'm going to start drawing lines. You can find plenty of lines in this image. Look at these lines on the street, on the floor. Follow them. You can follow those lines on the sides of this building. And basically, you can draw any line from anywhere. Just make sure that they are straight lines and they are converging. And you are going to be able to find the vanishing point and the horizon line in the blink of an eye. So in a matter of seconds, I found the horizon line of this image. Here we go, another image, the same rule. The lines are clearly visible. They're like, hey, follow me. Okay, just follow them, and that is the vanishing point, and there you go with the horizon line. See, it only takes 3 seconds if you're good at it. Here we are in this night city, and again, I'm going to follow the lines that I see in the image. The lines from the sides of these crosswalks, maybe the line from the top of this building. It is converging and it is straight, so I can use it, and there you go. You see that point? You see the point where these all lines meet? That is the vanishing point, and there you go with the horizon line, the famous red line. There you have it. And before you start complaining like, hey, these examples are too easy, just wait. Alright, the second section or the second category of the images are the images which are organic places, like fields, mountains, seas, oceans, stuff like that. And finding the horizon line in these images are pretty easy. You just find the line where the ground plane meets the sky. So you can see that at this line, the ground ends and the sky starts. This next example is not as obvious as the previous one, but you can still tell that the horizon line is right here. Why? Because that is approximately the line where the ground ends and the sky starts. That is the line where the ground plane meets the sky. So the horizon line is going to be approximately over there. And keep that in mind that in these images, you are not going to be able to find the horizon line precisely. So you gotta just kind of guess it. And most of the cases, 95% of the times, it is true. So keep that in mind, and let's move on to our next example. 1, 2, 3, and the horizon line is right there. That is the place where the ground ends and the sky starts. I know these examples are easy, but I'm just teaching you guys the basics. We are going to get into some more complicated examples as we get a little bit more educated, so to speak. And in this last image of organic places, I don't even need to explain anything. You already know that it is the horizon line. Let's move on to the next category. Hell yeah, our next category is called cars. We are going to learn how to find the perspective in an image where there is a car. Actually, you can use this car, the tires of the car. What you're gonna do is to draw 2 lines, one that touches the top of the tires and one that touches the bottom of the tires. Just like that. Easy, alright? And it actually falls out of the canvas in this case. So we are going to need to extend the canvas a little bit. Let me do that so we can see where they intersect. Okay, let me draw them again. So one line that touches the top of the 2 tires. Just like that. Perfect. And one line that touches the bottom of the tires. Awesome. And they will meet there. And that is the vanishing point of this image, and this is the horizon line. It was easy, right? So this is the horizon line of this image. Boom. Let's get to the next example of the car's world. Okay, here you can follow the lines of the buildings in the streets, but we are going to do it with the car. So, as I said, one line that touches the top part of the tires, and be sure that the tires should be on the same side, not the opposite tires or anything like that. One line that touches the top of the tires and one line that touches the bottom of the tires, and let's see where they meet. Again, it falls out of the canvas. I don't know why, but in 90% of the times these fall out of the canvas. We need to extend the canvas a little bit. Let's do that again. One that touches the top and one that touches the bottom. There you go. Found the vanishing point, and I can easily now draw the horizon line of this image. It's right there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next example. Here again with another car, and again you are exposed to two options to find the horizon line. One is by looking at the ground plane, and the other one is by drawing the lines for the tires of the car. So we're gonna do that with the car, and I already extended the canvas because I knew it was gonna fall out of the canvas again. So there you have it. That is one line. Let's draw another line. Okay, I found it. And they did not cross each other, but they are pretty damn close, and I can tell that they will meet at a point like that. And I'm going to draw the horizon line there. There you go. So now we're gonna learn how to find out if the camera was shooting upwards or downwards, cause you might want to find out the angle from which the camera was shooting in order to have a better vision of your composite. Because if your subject was shot from a low angle view, your background should be shot from the same angle, and vice versa. So sometimes it becomes really important to figure this out. In most cases it is pretty easy because you can just obviously see that the camera was pointing down or up, but in some cases like this image that I have in here, it is a little bit tricky and hard to tell whether the camera was pointing up or down. So in these cases you need to do this technique. So first you go to View and choose New Guide Layout. We don't want any columns, we only want rows because we want to find the middle line of the image. So check off columns, and we are going to need 2 rows with 0 gutter. Okay, so set the number to 2 and hit OK. That middle line is the line that divides the image into 2 parts. Now find the horizon line, which is going to be that. Let me increase the weight a little bit. That is the horizon line. And obviously you see that the horizon line is below the midline of the image. So if the horizon line is below the midline of the image, it means that the camera was facing up. It was a little hard to tell only by looking at this image, but now you know that the camera was facing upwards using this tip that I just told you. Here we are in our next example, and quickly I'm gonna draw the horizon line. It is right there, and I'm gonna repeat the same step. I'll go to View, New Guide Layout, and 2 rows. You can see that the midline of the image, which is the blue line, is above the horizon line, which means once again the camera was pointing upwards. And it was a bit hard in this image as well, but now you know that the camera was shooting upwards. Here we are in our third example, and I'm going to find the horizon line pretty quickly. I'm gonna follow the lines on these bars just like that, and they are going to meet at a point in the center of the image right there. There lies the horizon line. So once you found the horizon line, by the way, I can easily tell that the camera was pointing upwards. It is pretty obvious, but we're gonna prove that by going to View and repeating the same process. The middle line of the image is way above the horizon line, which means the camera was pointing upwards as we had predicted. And in our last example, I'm going to draw the horizon line and go to View, New Guide Layout, and that is the middle line. In this case, the middle line falls below the horizon line, which means that the camera was pointing down, and that was a little obvious. And finally, our last category is images like this one. You want to find the perspective using the parallel converging lines? Well, there are no lines. You want to find the perspective by looking at the ground plane and the sky? There is no ground plane and no sky. And there is no car, nothing. I mean, there's just no way that you can precisely guess where the horizon line is. These cases are, well, you just gotta guess. You just gotta eyeball it, just gotta use your experience to tell where the horizon line is and how the perspective should look. And this is a skill which can be gained and earned by practicing a lot. And I'm sure if you are good at practicing, then you're gonna be good at anything else